Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Nik Nikam Network Talk Show. I am Dr. Nik Nikam. We're delighted you could join us. We have two fascinating programs this evening. During first half of the hour, we're going to be talking about dance, especially Kuchipudi dance. And during second half of the hour, we're going to talk to a special Desi global musical group here from Houston. So we are coming to you live on YouTube. You can also download our app for Android or Apple phones and iPads and watch this on any one of your internet-based devices. First, we're going to talk about Kuchipudi style of dance, and my special guest is Pallavi Kumar, who is the director of Lasika Dance Academy here in Houston, and she is going to be talking to us about a special style of dance called Kuchipudi dance. Welcome to Nik Nikam Network Talk
Thank you,
Show.
Nik Ji. Thank you so much.
We
My
are
pleasure.
delighted to have you. First of all, give us a little bit about your background and how long you've been involved with this dance
Sure.
program.
I'm from Hyderabad
Yeah.
and born, brought up in Hyderabad, and I was initiated into classical dance by my father, Mr. V.V. Subbarao.
Yeah.
And then it was his dream and desire to see me as a dancer.
Yeah.
And then my mother took it up more seriously than him. And since then, I've been associated with classical dance, initially through Bharatanatyam. And then I moved on to Kuchipudi, and I did my master's also in Kuchipudi from Central University.
Yeah.
And it's been wonderful. I've had few breaks because of traveling, kids, and all that. But there's a saying that says, "Once a dancer is always a dancer." So you may not physically dance, but mentally your mind won't stop dancing. So that way, I can say I'm associated with dance for more than 30 years now.
Was there any dance in your ancestry?
No, I don't think there's any dancer or singer in my family, but my parents sure would have been in their past lifetime because they were so persistent.
Yeah.
My mother especially, and I always wondered, it's not possible unless you have this, undying passion for art to chase the kids and to be so patient with them, because kids do give up.
I know.
So as parents, I think they had some strong, unexplainable faith in the arts. So I'm sure it's some past lifetime, some association maybe.
All of this, take a tremendous amount of time, commitment, and serious practice. Okay, just on a broad basis, let's say, we have some non-Indians listening to this. Give us some idea as to what was the purpose of dance in the early years of Indian history or culture.
Sure. So before we look into the purpose of classical dance, let's look at art in general, right? Because art is an expression. It's an expression of experience, expression of life, right? So if I look at nature, or if I go through a certain situation, what I experience, it will take a manifestation into an expression, right? And how it comes out as an expression could result in a song, in a poetry, or it could result in a painting, a sculpture, or a visual form like this dance form. So that is what art is. Art is nothing but an experience that you want to convey and communicate to the audience.
I see.
But on the classical dance forms, I must say that our classical dance forms were treated as a form of spiritual practice.
I see.
It's all the classical dances are nothing but a celebration of spirituality. No matter what songs we dance to, what characters we enact, what episodes from mythology we depict, we ultimately lead to only one universal truth, which is the purpose of human existence, which is the union of human soul with the supreme soul. That's the ultimate truth that we try to convey. So the purpose of classical dance forms is through music, through poetry. It's a self-realization that you experience, and then what you experience, you would express that and make sure that the audience who are seeing also are along with you in that experience. That was the purpose.
So you take them on a journey.
Exactly, into your imaginary, into your realm of world. But when you talk about the purpose also differed from where and how it was performed.
I see.
Because in early years, there were dances happening in the temples,
Yes.
in the premises of temples, where you must have heard about Devadasis, right?
Yeah.
Devadasis are the servants of
Yeah,
God.
servants, yeah.
They were literally married to the Lord, and all they would sing and dance is in glory of the Lord.
Yeah.
So the songs and the dance that they performed was filled with devotion, right? So the purpose was, it was an enlightening experience.
I see, yeah.
The spirituality that the dancer experiences, she would convey to the people who are watching. Now, the dance that happened in the courtyards by court dancers is entirely different. They would sing in praise of the king.
That's true.
Or they would dance to the literary works of the king, because in those times, the king themselves were so well knowledged with the
Educated,
music, dance, poetry, shastras. So they had great literary works. So it would either they dancing or praising the king. So it was more like a lot of entertainment was involved, entertaining the king and the ministers, and perhaps maybe few religious lyrics here and there. And then the dances happen on the streets.
Yes.
For the common man, right? So the common man couldn't access the dances in the temple, couldn't access the dances in the palaces, right? So these dances were not for enlightenment, they were purely for entertainment, to either evoke humor or to spread a social message or to bring awareness on social issues. So it was more like an educational tool.
And also to tell the stories about life,
exactly.
Contemporary
Absolutely.
life.
So the purpose of the classical dance forms in general, it's dependent on where and how it was performed, and that's how they took root. They got bifurcated into classical dances and into entertaining forms and enlightening forms. But the beauty of classical dance forms is you have both entertainment and enlightenment. And I don't think any other dance forms have this luxury and pleasure of dancing to the lyrics.
That's right, yeah.
The lyrics, where you are actually depicting the meaning of the song. You are actually being the imaginary visual form of the poet's imagination. What the poet imagined and poured into lyrics, you're actually picking it up and you're actually enacting it. So
that's absolutely true, because I just attended a Rengetram last weekend, and then for the first time this lady explained all these different words, and the young lady showed with hand movements, eye gestures, and all these things. Then I could realize, okay, there is some meaning and connection between the movements of the hands, feet, eyes, and the whole body with the lyrics of the song or the story that is being expressed in the dance form.
Because the classical dance forms, you have abstract dance and you have expressive dance. So it helps when you explain before you dance what you're trying to do. You bring about the poet's imagination, what the poet is intending to do in so and so composition, and what few gestures mean, and it really helps for a common man to understand, actually.
And the other thing I see about classical music, dance, or anything is the structure of the foundation of music itself that is taught. Because in pop music and all these things, people develop music from a different angles, and somebody say they are born with music, but with classical, you go through very rigorous
because the music and dance, they go hand in hand, and the music is the very backbone of classical dance forms. So it is not like without music it would be close to other non-Indian classical forms that you see. You dance to just the instrument music and stuff like that. But these forms, there is a purpose, like I talked about. It's a celebration of spirituality. It's a self-realization that you experience and you want to convey. And music plays a huge role. Even now, when you listen to a music with a set ragam, with a melody and talam, and I'm not an expert in Carnatic music, but I know one thing, that the great musicians have chosen a specific ragam and talam to create that mood for a reason. So even now, that's the reason why you sit, you may not dance, you may not imagine, you close your eyes and listen. If it's a sad song, the tears start pouring out, right? Or if it's a happy song, you have this unexplainable bliss. It is because of that magic and power of the melody and talam set to that song. And imagine, your half job is done as a dancer. So you already have this music on top of it, you're adding your own emotions and trying to enact the mood of the song. It will reach the audience much faster. And
That's fascinating. So the background music, which is set to a certain emotions, and then
yes.
expressing with the body all these words that convey a whole much
I mean,
deeper
apart
meaning.
from the appealing impact, it
Yeah.
has great benefit. And like I said, it hits the chord of the audience very
That's
quickly
interesting.
when you dance
Before we
without
go any
music.
further, let's give out your contact information. And
Sure.
also, I know you are going to have your first anniversary of your Lasika Dance Academy.
Yes,
Tell
yes.
us a little bit about that,
Yes,
and then we'll
so
learn more about Kuchipudi dance in
yes,
particular.
yes. So my school name is Lasika.
Hmm.
Lasika
Yeah,
means a graceful female dancer.
I see.
And Lasika was born last year, actually.
Hmm.
It's literally my third baby. And we're all looking forward to the first anniversary
Yeah.
celebration where I have about 21 dancers
Hmm.
presenting items from the dance styles of Bharatanatyam and Kuchipudi.
Yeah.
And that will be followed by my performance also.
I see. Yeah.
The Lasika School of Dance, I teach Bharatanatyam and Kuchipudi through my school in Sugarland at 2
Yeah.
locations. And anyone wants to know, they can go to my website at www.pallavikumar.us. That's the
That's
website for
good.
my
Ladies
more
and
contact
gentlemen, you are
details.
listening to Triple N Talk Show. I am Dr. Nik Nikam. You can watch this live on YouTube, or you can download your app for Android or Apple devices and watch them on your handheld telephones or iPad or whatever you have, or you can watch it on the internet. We have the links listed below on this video stream, and this is coming to you live on YouTube. I am Dr. Nik Nikam, and okay, let's talk about Kuchipudi dance.
Yes.
Explain to us what Kuchipudi dance means, where it started, who started it, and what are some things that are unique to this particular style of dance.
Sure. So Kuchipudi is one of the 8 Indian classical dance styles. We have
Mhm.
8
I
classical
see.
dances
Yeah,
from
I
India.
didn't know that. I thought
Yes.
Bharatanatyam and
No,
Kathak.
no. We have Bharatanatyam, we
Yeah,
have Kuchipudi, we have Mohiniyattam and Kathakali.
I see.
We have Kathak, we have Odissi, we have Manipuri and Chow. These are the 8 Indian classical dance styles we have, and Kuchipudi is one amongst them. And
Yeah.
its origin lies in the southern province of Andhra Pradesh, and
Mhm.
it's named after the village Kuchipudi, and that's where it's
Yeah.
born. Now, as far as how old is this dance form is concerned, there's so many evidences. I mean, we can go on and on, but as such, there are several historical
Mhm.
and sculptural and archaeological evidences
I
that
see.
establish the fact that the Andhra region
Yeah.
had a rich tradition of classical dance, music,
Mhm.
poetry. So if you look at the sculpturesque poses on the walls of Amaravati temples or
Yeah.
many literary works,
Yes.
lot of archaeological evidences. So it all the way to second, third century, there are references of classical
Yeah.
dance tradition. So it's been around.
Yeah.
Now, being very specific to the Kuchipudi, it's at
Yeah.
about 12th century where we have earliest evidence that there is
Yeah.
a dance called Kuchipudi and it is from this village Kuchipudi.
I see.
So that explains how old this
I
dance
see,
form
yeah.
is. Very ancient and
Yeah.
and thousands of years. In terms of the development of Kuchipudi, I must mention the Siddhendra Yogi,
Mhm.
who
I see,
he's
yeah.
regarded as the pioneer of Kuchipudi, the father of
I see.
Kuchipudi,
Yeah.
because there was classical dance still prevalent before his time too.
Yeah.
But what he has done is he codified and has given a shape and form to the
Yeah.
dance drama tradition, the Yakshagana tradition that they
I
call.
see. Yeah. Yeah.
And he took few young Brahmin boys,
Yeah.
he taught the dance, and who through the lineage of dances and through generations have performed and propagated. And that's how
Were
the
these dances in the temples or in the king's courts? Or?
no, they were different platforms
I see.
actually.
Yeah.
Looking into the history, yes, they were at the premises of temples. They were at some, wherever
Yeah.
they organized, and they also have taken up some social causes for social issues. They would script then and there
Yeah.
few dance dramas, and they would just enact it in presence of the king. So they
I
were
see. Yeah.
performing at different platforms. But typically, a yakshagana or a dance drama tradition is where
Yeah.
you enact two episodes from the epics. You take some episodes from mythology and
I see,
epics, and
yeah.
you perform to it. So, and also Siddhendra Yogi also has created this tradition called Kalapam.
Mhm.
It is very unique to Kuchipudi again.
Yeah.
So he brought in these two aspects of Kuchipudi, the
Yeah.
Kalapam and the dance drama.
I see. Yeah.
So the Kuchipudi, as such, existed in only these two forms, as Yakshagana and also as Kalapam, I think up until 1930s.
I see. Yeah.
But in 1930s, when some gurus found some gradual decline in these dance drama tradition, they have introduced women. I forgot to mention that this was only performed by men. The dance drama tradition. It was completely a male-dominated art form. Probably because of the social economic reasons, because these were all the Brahmin families who were dedicated into performing the yakshaganas or the dance dramas. They were actually doing agriculture. During the off season, they would do these dance dramas, and they would go from place to place, remote areas and bullock carts, odd hours. So I think probably women, they felt, wouldn't be conducive to this kind of travel, and they kind of restricted them. Could be one reason, but women were not part of this until 1930s. But it's because of Guru Vedantam Lakshmi Narayana Shastri. He introduced this art form to few women. And especially dancers like Yamini Krishnamurti, who's a very established Bharatanatyam dancer back then. So when she learned the nuances of Kuchipudi and she started performing widely to Delhi and other audience, it gradually gained popularity and more women started showing interest. And that's how women came in. And it's interesting that women have outnumbered the men right now. So they are doing all the male roles like Krishna, Shiva, and so many other roles, and they've kind of outnumbered. But long story short, Kuchipudi, the current Kuchipudi, it exists in these three forms: as a dance drama tradition, as a solo form, and as a modern dance ballet form, which is again completely different. So it's not just like some of the other art forms. They exist only as a solo form. But Kuchipudi, the repertoire is so vast because of this reason, because it exists in multiple forms like this.
That's fascinating. Ladies and gentlemen, you are listening to Nik Nikam Network Talk Show. I am Dr. Nik Nikam, and my special guest is Pallavi Kumar from Lasika Dance Academy, and we are talking about Kuchipudi style of dance, which comes from Andhra, India. And okay, let's talk about more nuances of Kuchipudi with reference to today's traditions. Maybe you can explain to us about the dress that is used by the artists and what is unique about it and how it differs from other types of dances.
Well, with the dress, traditionally, when men used to do the Kuchipudi, they would tie a sari, right? And the way the sari is tied and everything, when women started doing it, obviously they had to reform the dress.
I see.
So the current dress that you see is a 4-piece stitched dress. We have inherited that from the sari tradition.
I see. Yeah.
Okay. And the same story goes with Bharatanatyam also. They used to, the Devadasis, they used to tie a sari.
I know.
And now, I mean, few people still do wear a sari, but then, they moved on to the stitched sari. So that's the reformation that happened. Now, as far as the dress is concerned today, a lot of innovation is happening because tradition, I feel, should always be ever flowing. It shouldn't be stagnant. We cannot dress up like how people dressed up in 50s and 60s, right? So what was innovative in the past has become tradition now.
I see,
and what innovation we bring in will become tradition for the next generation. So the dress is since it's an aesthetic aspect of a performance, people have been experimenting with changing the height of the fan but again, mind you, I don't mean to say that I can wear a Kathak dress and do Kuchipudi. That's not innovation, right?
I see,
so within the boundaries of the tradition, like I said, we have inherited the dress from the sari tradition. So being close to that, without moving away from that, people have been experimenting with the way blouse is designed, the pallu is designed, the pleats are designed. So that's how it is. And same story with the hairdressing and makeup also.
I see. Yeah. Okay, let's talk about the different movements of the hand, facial expressions, and the feet. Maybe you can give us some examples and tell us how it differs from like Bharatanatyam or Kathak, something like that.
I'm not an expert in Kathak though, but hand gestures, sure. Like I said, body is the medium through which we communicate in classical dance. So when we look at this body, every limb of the body have to be incorporated, right? The gestures, It's just a hand gesture won't do anything.
I see.
It's
Yeah.
a combination of my hand gesture, my facial expression, the way I move my
I
eyebrows,
see.
the
Yeah.
way my foot are, the foot positions are. So it's a combination of everything. So that's how the communication becomes effective. Like for
Yeah.
example, if I just say if I just say this, it
Yeah.
means come, right?
Yes.
Any common man can say
That's true.
come.
Yeah.
But just with this simple way of saying come, there could be a pleasing way along with the expression. I'm just trying to tell
Yeah.
you. If I say please come, it's a nice
I know.
cajoling way of requesting somebody to
Yeah.
come. And if I really mad at someone and I would say just come, so just with one hand gesture, depending
Yeah.
on how
I
I move
see.
my face, how I express, the entire meaning is changed. And same with the foot positions also.
Yeah.
The way you put your foot, whether you land on your heel, you land on your forepart, or you stamp flat on the ground.
Yeah.
So every foot position has a meaning and it has a name and a purpose. So depending on the song and the mood that you're trying to convey, you put all these elements together, the major limbs, the minor limbs, and everything together, and
Yeah.
that's how it helps you communicate easily to the
So,
audience.
since you said each word is conveyed through, entire body expression, through all your hands, eyes, face, coordination, and all these things, that means they have to know the entire meaning of the
Yes.
song in addition to knowing the rhythm.
Absolutely. When you take up a song,
Yeah.
ideally, the first thing that any dancer should or would attempt is to understand the meaning.
Yeah.
What is the meaning of the song? What is the poet trying to convey through the song?
Yeah.
And what is it that we need to know? And then comes the technicality of what hand gestures go with it.
I see. Yeah.
Even more than the gestures, it is the emotion and the expression that you, with which you convey.
I see.
That
Yeah.
is very effective.
Okay, and the children are growing up in this country.
Mhm.
Obviously these are all written in Sanskrit or maybe regional languages like Telugu or Kannada or Karnataka. So how do you teach these students, what these words really mean and their deepest meanings?
So, Natya Shastra, which is the oldest treatise on dramaturgy,
Yeah,
it has laid down all the principles
I see.
and everything about the stagecraft, about dance,
see.
about music, about makeup, and like I mentioned about the what hand gestures each
Yeah.
gesture means and all. But true, like you said, not everybody can go to that level of picking that book and reading and trying to
Yeah.
execute that in your dance. So that's where the role of gurus and the teachers come.
Yeah.
Certainly, when you take it at the academic level, like like undergrad
Yeah.
or masters or even diploma, certificate, there's so many
Yeah.
ways where you are introduced to these texts to know how to learn these technicalities.
Yeah.
Or otherwise, if you don't have the time and luxury to get deeper into that, you should take help of your teacher. And these days, I think a lot of schools, they kind of explain. I personally explain the meaning to
I
my
see. Yeah.
students before I dance, because they need to understand they need to sense the purpose of what they're trying to do.
That's what I said.
That's very important.
If they are communicating with another artist on the stage, I mean, they have to know what they are
Absolutely.
doing.
Absolutely. But unfortunately, I must also say that the kind of time that we had,
Yeah.
the current generation kids don't. For us, art was not a separate thing. It was parallel, or in fact, in my case, it was taking more time than my academic
I
education.
see. Yeah.
So because our parents believe that if
Yeah.
you know art, that is enough. You don't need anything else. They believed art will teach you everything.
Yeah.
Right. So, I mean, in my case, if I had a performance that conflicts with my exam, my mom would say, it's okay if you want to flunk in the exam, but make sure you don't do a bad job with your performance.
Yeah.
That's the kind of belief and faith that our parents had, where they said you need to do justice to your art. And it was
That's true,
it
yeah.
was parallel to the academic studies. But now with the current generation kids, like I'm a mother, my daughter is 10, and
Yeah.
I do see the both shades as a teacher and as a
I see,
mother.
yeah.
Like they have so many distractions, so many
Yeah.
activities, and then on top of it, the time and focus, they everything they want it so easily,
I
quickly
know.
and instantly, right?
Yeah.
So I don't know how much perseverance the kid can have, to kind
Yeah.
of get to that depth, to know what these gestures mean, or if I take this up and I want to choreograph one day, how much knowledge I need
Yeah.
to know. So it is all up to that kid how far you want to take your dance to.
Okay, let's give out your contact information and about your dance academy first anniversary coming up, and then
Yes.
we'll continue with a little more questions about the Kuchipudi dance in particular.
Absolutely. So you're watching me, Pallavi Kumar, teaching Bharatanatyam and Kuchipudi in Sugarland through Lasika School of Dance. And you can go to my website, pallavikumar.us for more details.
I'm Dr. Nik Nikam. You're listening to Nik Nikam Network Talk Show, and this is coming to you live on YouTube. And you can also download our app for your Apple or Android devices and watch this interview real in live streaming video on YouTube or even Google Plus. Okay, we were talking about all these different expressions and all this. How long does it take for a student to master this art?
It's a very difficult question. It's like an ocean.
Oh,
The deeper you get into it, there is still a lot more.
yeah,
And you can never get to the depth or to the bottom of it.
Yeah.
One lifetime is seriously not enough. So to master, I think it's a very difficult thing to say, because I've seen gurus who've dedicated their lives and
yeah,
have lived in that art for 60, 70 years and still
Yeah.
claim they know nothing. So mastering
yeah,
is like I said, lifetime is not enough. But practically, from the time they learn, if you ask me how long does it take for them to kind of put the entire repertoire of Kuchipudi
Yeah.
dance, like Ranga Pravesham,
Yeah.
right? Well, for that, I would say, depending on the kid's capacity and capabilities, it might take good 5 to 7, 8 years, maybe.
I see. Yeah,
But that's only the first step. The starting step into the world of Kuchipudi
I see, yeah.
is the Ranga Pravesham. But from there onwards, like I said, it's up to the kid's destiny and interest and passion, how far they want to take it, because you will only experience the value and the bliss if you make it as your way of life. I personally spend more than, I think, 20, 25 years until I actually realized
Yeah.
what art really means. So I don't know, like I said again, how much perseverance the kids of this generation will have.
Well, of course, the lifestyle here is different from what
Yes.
we grew up.
And I
in
must
India.
also say that I've seen so many kids, senior dancers from
Yeah.
many schools, who are doing wonderful job, who are doing excellent work, and where, like I said, regardless of their profession,
Yeah.
they are keeping up with their art too, either by teaching or by taking or doing some collaborative works. So there is a lot more hope, though.
How does this form of art help in their academic career or future life?
See, like I said, it's like complete yoga.
Yeah, I see.
See, right from your early years of training, at one time, your mind has to focus on the rhythm,
I see.
which is a set cycle of beats, right? So your feet has to be, it should go along with that
Beats.
rhythm.
Mhm.
And then your hand gestures have to convey the meaning of the song.
I see. Yeah.
And your inner self should be in touch with the actual character, whatever role you're playing. So you're actually that role. So you need to forget who you are, get into the skin of that character,
Yeah.
bring out that emotion onto your face, keeping all these other faculties in line. So you can imagine how much of coordination it is with the mind, body, and soul. So
That's
like
fascinating, because maybe this is their first step in learning multitasking.
absolutely. And then also, when you take up dance, always, like I said, you have your academic studies happening, you have so much of other activities happening in your life. So you learn multitasking to keep up with the art.
Yeah.
And then the physical stamina that you have, that you kind of, it enhances your physical strength, your
Yeah.
mental strength, your emotional strength. So when you get into the real life challenges, I feel it becomes easy. I've experienced that. I've learned
Yeah.
so much about life itself with the art, and then when it comes to changing anything about yourself for the sake of art, it becomes
Yeah.
so easy.
I think it teaches a lot of discipline. It teaches
Absolutely.
hard work, dedication,
Yes.
and a whole lot of things, which are the basic foundations of
Yes.
any successful human being
Patience.
in any field, for that matter.
Patience, perseverance.
A
it
couple of
teaches
more
you.
minutes. Let's talk about something that is totally unique to Kuchipudi dance. What is this? Tarangini dance.
Tarangam.
Yeah,
Yes,
let's
yes.
talk about that.
So when you say the unique, yes, apart from the dance drama, the
Yeah,
kalapam, and the other unique aspect of Kuchipudi when compared to other dance form
yeah,
is Tarangam, right?
yes,
And so what this is it's a solo piece
yeah.
where we typically dance to the compositions of a poet called Narayana Tirtha,
I see. Yeah,
and all the songs are from the Sri Krishna Leela Tarangini.
I
It is
see.
a
Yeah,
Sanskrit soap opera written by him.
yeah,
So it is about the stories of Lord Krishna. You have
I
songs
see. Yeah,
starting from his birth until his marriage to Rukmini.
I see.
So
Yeah,
through the stages, you have different
I see.
compositions.
Yeah,
And it's a song with lyrics and
yeah,
rhythmic syllables. The song ends with this nritta piece where the dancer balances herself on the rims of a brass plate
yes.
with a pot half filled with water on the head.
Hmm.
And it's become so popular and so appealing. Although Kuchipudi has lot more than Tarangam, lot of
Hmm.
people identify
Yeah,
Kuchipudi with, oh, it is that plate dance.
I know.
It's become that popular, and it's
Yeah.
very appealing actually. And that's one of the unique aspects of Kuchipudi.
Okay, what advice do you have for parents who may be interested in getting their children enrolled in a Kuchipudi style dance?
Well, yeah, sure. I personally feel the parents need a lot of education and awareness more than kids. Like I said,
I
if
see. Yeah.
kids get impatient and want to give up, if you believe and trust and you have faith in this path, you will kind of hold on to them and
Hmm.
tell them. Well, I would say that don't expect anything immediate in just 6 months to a year.
I see. Yeah.
This will take time, but be patient. And like I said, the hard work, commitment, and how focused and dedicated you are, you will experience a lifetime bliss actually. And I suggest that they become instrument in making it as a way of life, not
I see.
as
Yeah.
a activity or a hobby.
That's
But
fascinating. Okay, let's give out about your Lasika dance school and your
yes.
first year anniversary coming up. And our special guest is Pallavi Kumar, who is the director of Lasika Dance Academy. Okay, tell us about your academy and your first year anniversary coming up.
So my objective when I took up teaching was, of course, to pass on this age-old tradition to the next generation, right?
Yeah.
All the hardships of my parents and gurus, I felt I had little responsibility of putting myself through that to make
Yeah.
sure that I contribute to the art form in some way by creating at least a handful of serious dancers
Yeah.
who can in turn pass it on to the next generation, because this
Yeah.
is oral tradition, right?
Yeah.
That was the main objective. And although I started informally, wasn't very sure if I want to take this up, and I finally made up my mind and I started Lasika last year. And this August 15th, next weekend,
Yeah.
there are about 21 dancers presenting Natya Upasana. Upasana means worship.
I see. Yeah.
It is a worship through the medium of dance, and that's
Dance,
what
yeah.
Natya Upasana is. So we've chosen items, offering salutations to different Hindu gods through the items in Bharatanatyam
yeah.
and Kuchipudi. That's the first part. The second part is I chose the theme of Lord Krishna.
I see. Yeah.
And I will be attempting to bring about the three distinct aspects of Lord Krishna.
I see,
Krishna
yeah.
as an erotic lover, Krishna as a divine player,
Yeah.
and Krishna as a supreme godhead.
I see.
So that is the second part of the performance in the style of Kuchipudi by me.
Yeah.
And this is happening at JCC, Kaplan Theatre. And we request everyone to come and be seated by 3:30 p.m. because come what may, the program will start sharp
That's
4
right.
p.m. And it's a free and open event. So anyone who wants to see the beauty of Bharatanatyam and Kuchipudi, they're welcome to come and join us.
That's very Pallavi, thank you very much.
Thank you so much,
for being on
Nikji.
our program. Ladies
Thank you.
and gentlemen, you are listening to Nik Nikam Network Talk Show. I'm Dr. Nik Nikam. We're going to take a break and we're going to come back and talk about the Desi Global Musical Group from Houston.
Thank you. Thank you so much.